name is Elissa Moses, and I head the Neuro and Behavioral Science practice at Ipsos. And what I really want to talk to you today is very much in keeping with the theme of this total conference, which is how do you make data human? And the way to make data human is to really start thinking about emotion, because it's emotion that really makes us human. So probably the most important thing I want to talk about is how there really is a neuro data revolution happening, particularly in the market research field, and it's been going on for about the last 8 years. And what I think is that we're on the precipice of being able to elevate that revolution and bring it into the world of big data, along the themes of the things that people are talking about today. What we found in market research is that really understanding non-conscious processing is what's been missing. It's so important, as we learn now from advances in neuroscience, that the non-conscious and the emotional is often what is the tiebreaker and the tipping point as we make decisions, and that we may go into a store with a very rational set of directives in mind, maybe wanting to keep price low, wanting to buy a practical solution, and there's almost an invisible hand that sometimes pulls us to another brand because of some emotional association and feeling that we have about another brand, often that's driven by advertising. So it's really important as we try to get closer and closer to understanding consumers and people, what's in their head, to the point where at Ipsos, a lot of our clients are saying to us now, and it's music to my ears, is that we really want a non-conscious component to every study that we do. And with the tools that are available nowadays, it's really easy. It wasn't so easy when neuromarketing first got started. So what you see before you is a continuum that sort of puts in perspective what a lot of the different tools are. And there's a continuum with respect to scalability, sensitivity, and cost. And as you see in the middle, the items that are stacked, things like implicit reaction time testing, facial coding, eye tracking, voice pitch analysis, those are all things that are easily scalable, like you saw about the facial coding in the last session, something that we do as well with Realize. And so that's where I think a lot of the scalable data is going to come of interest. Then you have things like EEG and biometrics, extremely sensitive, great for some solutions, but frankly harder to scale. So I want to give you an example, and it's an example of an incredibly fun study that we did recently about shopper behavior. And we called this study Flower Power. The goal, it was really a behavioral economics study to see what might happen in terms of shopper behavior if we could actually elevate mood. So how are we going to elevate mood? Well, an easy way, particularly if you have female shoppers, is to give them a flower. So we had a test control setup where the control people did not get a flower. The test people got a flower when they hit a certain aisle. It happened to be soft drinks, but that was kind of randomly selected. And I'm telling you about a real study that happened with real shoppers in a real big American grocery store. So one of the things that you learn from neurometrics, because they don't all do the same things, is that you can get incredible insight if you start to layer the different kinds of methods. And so this was an experimental R&D study where we layered eye tracking, and this was mobile eye tracking, so that people shopping that day could free roam and do whatever they planned to do in their normal grocery shop. We looked at biometrics like heart rate and galvanic skin response, called GSR, to see was their mood being elevated, did they get excited? We even looked at voice pitch analysis from the surveys afterwards, where we had them record their answers into an iPad as opposed to writing them down or typing them in. And we, of course, did a survey. So we layered on these different kinds of perspectives to understand. So what did we learn? We learned that if you give somebody a flower, they get really excited. Their heart rate goes up, their galvanic skin response goes up, and the galvanic skin response tends to continue throughout the duration of the shop. The mood isn't just uplifted instantaneously, it's sustained. There was a lot of learning from this study, but I'll share with you a couple of the big ahas. So big aha number 1. After receiving a flower, attention increases on products and decreases on price tags. That for us was an oh my God. The reason being is that if you become less price sensitive because your mood has been elevated, you're very likely to buy more expensive stuff. So if you're a premium product or a luxury product, this has to be incredibly interesting news because it's a way to really shift the scale. The second big aha. The second big aha was that receiving a flower impacted purchase behavior and that there were higher purchases among flower receivers for products touched. So what we found was if you're in a good mood, you pick up more, you're less resistant to the whole shopping thing, and that which you touch, you tend to put more in the basket. So at the end of the day, and this was also a behavioral study, after they checked out, we had them come back for an interview, and we took an inventory of everything they bought, number of items, and the actual size of the basket in terms of dollars, and there were definite increases. So again, better mood, buy more stuff. We looked at, as I said, we were experimenting with voice pitch analysis, which can give you a sense of different kinds of emotional states. And it was amazing when we saw the people that were in the test cell come back, just how exuberant they were, how elevated they were, how much they were smiling. I'm not sure if this is going to work. No, sorry. I had some audio for you, but I can tell you that you can hear it in their voice. If you ask people, what was it like shopping at Schnucks today? The people that were in the control cell said, in almost like a deadpan tone, as you know, sometimes respondents are in market research, well, it was nice, I did my shop, I like Schnucks, it's okay. You ask people that got the flower, and they're talking faster, and they're talking at a higher level, and they're like saying, it was great, I got a flower, and it was just, I love this store, and everybody's really nice here, and they have really good products. You could just hear it. So this leads me to ask a lot of what ifs. And probably one of the big what ifs for this audience is, what if non-conscious data becomes more passive and scalable? What if you really can take all the wonderful metrics you have about behavior, about demographics, about psychometrics, but you can really add some emotional response, things that we know about the content of advertising, as was talked about in the last session, or how people feel about a brand, and layer that over. You're going to get a lot closer to the truth and to better predictability. And then I think we can also think about what can both manufacturers and retailers do to uplift mood where it counts, be it in a brick and mortar store or be it shopping online or any kind of situation where you're trying to influence behavior. We can be creative. Flowers are just one small action that you can take, but think about all the things that you can possibly do to elevate mood. And then I think we're going to possibly see mood elevation almost become a new advertising or communications channel. So that's it. Thank you very much.